I have a really fun recipe for you to try today. It's really great to have lots of local produce here in the Low Country. And these two eggplant came from my friends Ken and Ken, who grew them on St. Helena Island. I've decided I'm going to make an Italian kind of variation of eggplant parmesan today, but I'm going to make eggplant mozzarella stacks. The cool thing about this recipe is the eggplant is baked, it's not fried. And so we're going to have this baked eggplant that's actually baked on racks so that the undersides both get crispy. You get like the fried texture without all the grease and the fat. And then on top of that, we're going to have little pieces of fresh mozzarella, and then they're going to be baked a little bit more, and the mozzarella will melt, and then have a really simple marinara sauce with a little meat. You don't have to put the meat in it, but my husband Vince is a meatosaurus, and I kind of am too. So if you're not a vegetarian, add a little bit of hamburger, and we'll do that, and we'll make a little sauce, and it'll be perfect for dinner, lunch. Actually, it'd be really good with just a glass of wine. And I think I have all the ingredients together, so let's get started. This recipe takes uses one eggplant. You can double it, you can triple it, you can do as many as you want, but this will feed maybe 2 people with a couple extra pieces of eggplant to snack on. So all you want to do is trim the ends of the eggplant. These have been washed. And we're going to cut them into about 1/2-inch slices. And most eggplants will make anywhere between 6 and 8 slices. So here we go. Okay, so we've got these here. The first thing we need to do is salt and pepper them on both sides. Pretty liberally. The salt will help draw some of the moisture out of the eggplant, and it will also help them to become crispy. So we're gonna flip them. And do the other side. And some salt. Now for the breading. We're going to take 1 egg and about 1/2 cup of buttermilk. You can use regular milk, whole milk, skim milk, canned milk, but I like buttermilk, and it's also a pretty southern staple down here. We use this for breading for fried chicken and fried fish and things like that. It gives a little more of a piquant taste to your batter, and it also tenderizes. So we want to mix this up. And so this is our initial dip, and then we're going to dip it for the breadcrumb coating in dried breadcrumbs, unseasoned. That's about 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan, and I have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard, dry mustard. It's a little bit hotter than just your average mustard, like Dijon or whatever, and 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, just to give it a little kick. So we want to mix all this together and bread the eggplant. As I mentioned before, we're cooking this eggplant on a baking rack, and just to protect your pan, I suggest using a little tin foil underneath, so in case anything burns. I mean, you're still going to have to wash your pan, but it's much easier for cleanup. So let's start with the eggplant. Dip one of these guys in here, then in here, and continue until they're all coated on both sides. These will take about 30 minutes to bake in a preheated 350-degree oven. You want the eggplant to be tender and the coating and the crust to be crunchy, just like it would be if it had been fried. Now, to ensure that this is going to be crispy, what we're going to do is pour 5 tablespoons of melted salted butter over the top. I do a recipe like this too with chicken, that you can also do like with chicken tenders. I mean, it takes a little bit longer to cook. It's basically the same recipe, and just add maybe a little bit of garlic salt, and actually panko would be really good for that. Okay, so we have our eggplant ready to go in the oven, and it's going in at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Watch it and see. Set my timer for 30 minutes, and we'll let these cook. While these are cooking, we're going to make our sauce, which is so completely simple. It's 1 32-ounce jar of your favorite marinara sauce, spaghetti sauce. It's totally up to you. Turn this on medium. To that, I'm adding a teaspoon of dried oregano, and this is so simple, and about a cup of cooked ground beef. So this all goes in. Give this a stir. I'm going to let it heat through, and then use it to top our eggplant stacks. First thing is not to burn yourself. So we're going to remove these eggplants. I'm going to move them to one rack so that I can move this rack to the sink. Oops, and now we're going to assemble. So take maybe the biggest ones and put them on the bottom. All this stuff on the bottom is just butter, so it's perfectly fine for it to get a little more buttery. So we're going to layer a piece of eggplant with a piece of mozzarella, another piece of eggplant, another piece of mozzarella, and another, maybe a little smaller piece of eggplant. And we'll save these 2 guys to snack on. You just want to get these in the oven for about 10 minutes or so that the mozzarella cheese will just melt. And then we're going to add the marinara sauce. Oh, these beauties look good. See how the cheese is just melted a little bit? Okay, so now to plate them, do 1. Oh, they smell so good. 1 eggplant stack. And then we're going to put a little drizzle of our doctored marinara sauce. Just like that. Maybe a little more. And for garnish, a little grated mozzarella cheese, some fresh basil from my garden, I picked it this morning, and a dash of crushed red pepper flakes, because I like red pepper flakes on anything tomatoey. Doesn't this look delicious?